Assalamualaikum, I'm AISHA. Today I will present the executive summary and introduction of this report. Our group has selected case A for discussion. This case concerns deferred Murabahah financing, where a customer makes an advance payment and requests a rebate for Ibra on profits not yet earned by the bank. In practice, the bank only provides a partial rebate, not a full one, and this raises questions about fairness and transparency in the relationship between the bank and the customer. Murabahah or Tawarruq itself is a Sharia-compliant financing method widely used in Malaysia Islamic banks. It is based on a sale and purchase contract where the selling price includes a profit margin and is an alternative to riba. Okay, in this case, there are three main issues. First, the pricing and profit are still pending. Second, the rebate policy content an element of uncertainty or gara that the situation can cause harm or dara to customer. To assess this issue in Sharia term, we use three qawaid fiqhiyah method, namely lil ajalil qistum minal al-taman, al-dara yuzal, and al-umuru bimakasidiha. This analysis aims to assess the extent to which the partial rebate policy practiced by bank is in line with the principles of justice and Sharia compliance in Islamic banking.
My name is AZMINA, number matric A24B3782. For this first part of the case, I will explain the main party and the financing structure. In this transaction, Bank Islam act as the seller and the financier, while the customer is the buyer who they pay the selling price through installment. The contract used is the Murabahah and Tawarruq or Tawarruq concept, where the bank purchases an asset first and they sell it to the customer at the different price that include both the actual cost and the profit margin. The original financing period is 5 years, but after 3 years, the customer decides to settle the remaining balance yearly. This is where the rebate issue arises. The bank only offers a partial rebate, meaning it is willing to waste the unearned portion of the profit. However, the customer is requesting a full rebate for all profit that the bank has not yet received. The second stage of the disagreement between the both parties. For the second part, these are the key documents involved in the financing. The arrangement is supported by the Murabahah sale agreement, the facility agreement, and specifically the Ibra clause, which outline how rebate should be applied if the customer settle the financing yearly. The core issue in this case is simply the disagreement on the rebate amount. The bank only wants to grant a partial rebate while the customer is requesting a full one. At this point, we are only outlining the fact and the stakeholder involved. Any Sharia analysis or discussion on complaint welcome in the later section.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is FARANADYA MAZLAN and my matric number is 824B3705. So in this case, there are three main Sharia issues are identified. First, the issue of unearned profit. This may lead to riba nasi'ah if the bank continues to retain profit beyond the valid financing period. Second, the issue of an unclear rebate policy, which creates gara or uncertainty for customers. Third, the issue of partial rebate, which can cause dara, meaning harm or injustice towards the customer. These issues expose the bank to several risks, including Sharia non-compliance, reputational risk, and operational inconsistency across branches. In summary, the main Sharia and operational risks identified are riba, which involve retaining profit after the valid contract period ends. Next, gara is arising from the unclear rebate mechanism. Lastly is dara, which refer to the unfair financial burden placed on customers, leading to further operational and reputational risks. Therefore, it is crucial for Islamic financial institutions to establish a clear, transparent, and Sharia-compliant Ibra policy to ensure fairness and maintain customer confidence. That's all from me. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I will explain the maxim lil ajali qistun min al-thaman, which means deferment constitutes part of the price. This maxim shows that in a sale with deferred payment, the time given to pay later becomes part of the selling price. For example, the bank buys an asset for 50,000 and sells it to the customer for 55,000 to be paid over 5 years. The extra 5,000 is a Sharia compliant profit for allowing payment over time, not an interest. The issue appears when the customer settles early, since the full deferment period has not actually happened. The bank should not keep all the profit that was calculated for 5 years. Keeping the unearned portion of profit starts to resemble riba nasi'ah, where money is taken purely of time. Therefore, This maxim supports the customer's right to receive Ibra or a rebate on the unearned profit when early settlement occurs. By doing so, the bank respects the real purpose of deferment and upholds justice and transparency in Islamic finance. The second maxim is al-darar yuzal, meaning harm must be eliminated. In our Murabahah or Tawarruq case, this maxim is relevant when the bank only gives a partial rebate after early settlement. If the customer is still charged profit for a period that was not yet occurred, they are effectively bearing a cost without benefit, which can cause financial harm and zulm, especially when they are trying to reduce their burden. According to this maxim, any harm or injustice in the contract must be removed as much as possible. So, an Islamic bank should not keep unearned profits that cause loss to the customers. The Ibra policy should be clear, fair, and transparent, ensuring a full rebate for the unexpired period of deferment. By eliminating this harm, the bank protects the customer's rights and maintains the credibility and integrity of Islamic banking as a system based on justice and compassion. The third maxim is al-umur bi maqasidiha, which means matters are judged by their intentions. These maxims tell us to look at the real purpose behind the contract, not just its form. In Murabahah or Tawarruq, the intention behind the higher selling price, for example 55,000 ringgit instead of 50,000 ringgit, is that the extra amount is profit for allowing payment over time, not a fixed gain no matter what happens. When the customer settles early, the original purpose of charging full deferred profit no longer fully applies because the customer no longer enjoys the whole deferment period. If the bank still keeps unearned profit, it starts to look like taking money for time only, which is close to riba nasi'ah. From a Sharia perspective, the contract and the bank's Ibra policy should reflect intentions of fairness, transparency, and removal of harm. Only profit that matches the actual deferment period should be taken, and the rest should be rebated. If not, the practice goes against the maqasid al-Sharia and risks becoming a form of riba and zulm, even if the contract wording looks valid.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I am ZULAIKHA binti Muhammad ZAMREE and my registration number is A24B3741. I will briefly present about yearly settlement and Ibra in Murabahah and Tawarruq retail financing. Before we go deeper, we just want to highlight why this topic matters because it affects how much customers actually need to pay when they decide to settle their financing earlier. It's important because many people don't realize the Sharia reasoning behind this until they actually receive the information. So, in this video, we'll highlight the key principles, why Ibra is required, and the improvements suggested to make the process fair and transparent for customers. When it comes to early settlement, basically the customer is entitled to receive Ibra, which means a rebate for the profit that the bank has not yet earned. This is based on the principle al-ajalu qistun minal thaman, which means the deferment period is part of the selling price. So, when the customer pays early, the bank cannot charge profit for the time that no longer exists. It didn't even realize until many cases happened and customer actually got this information that keeping the full deferred amount may lead to riba al-nasi'ah, which is not allowed in Sharia. As I mentioned just now, Sharia also emphasizes al-darar yuzal, which is harm must be removed. So, charging the customer for time they did not benefit from is considered harmful and unjust. So, the court decided that banks must give full Ibra to avoid riba and to uphold fairness, transparency, and maqasid al-Sharia. When it comes to improving the Ibra process, Islamic banks need several action steps. Basically, the first one is to implement an automated Ibra system. This helps to ensure accurate and immediate rebate without delays or errors. Next, contracts must include a clear Ibra clause, so customers will know exactly how their rebate is calculated. This avoids any element of gharar or uncertainty. Banks must also conduct regular Sharia audits as well as provide a transparent customer portal or mobile app to check the rebate amount easily. Another thing that plays a big role as well is staff training. That's why officers must be trained on principles like al-ajalu qistun minal taman and al-darar yuzal to ensure proper implementation. Finally, all policies must align with maqasid al-Sharia, which aim for justice, transparency, and protection of customer rights. Regarding early settlement, Sharia strongly emphasizes fairness and forbids any form of unjust gain. In essence, Ibra is not merely a favor, it is a Sharia obligation, With these improvements, Islamic banks can enhance customer protection and uphold the integrity of Islamic finance. Thank you.
Hi, Assalamualaikum. My name is Nabila SHUHADA binti ISMAIL and my number matric is A24B3704. From this case study, we learn how qawaid fiqhiyah is applied in real Islamic finance situations and not just in theory. The Ibra issue, although small, has a major impact on fairness and the bank's reputation. We understood that profit cannot be taken for a deferment period that no longer exists, in line with Al-Azli Kistun Mina Al-Taman. The principle of Al-Dara Yuzal and Al-Umur bi Makasidiha also highlight that harm must be removed and the customer's intention to reduce their burden through early settlement must be respected. This case study also made us more aware of operational risks such as unclear contracts, miscalculations, and staff misunderstanding, showing the importance of transparency and continuous Sharia monitoring. In conclusion, early settlement must be handled with fairness and full Sharia compliance, and banks should not retain profit tied to a time period that no longer exists. Qawaid fiqhiyah plays a crucial role in guiding these decisions, especially in ensuring that Ibra is transparent and free from riba, qarar, and darar. Clear documentation and proper process are essential to protect customer rights. Overall, this case study shows that Islamic finance can function effectively and ethically when it consistently upholds justice, transparency, and the objective of Maqasid al-Sharia. That's all. Thank you.